They have. They
Oh,
have.
yes, let's watch
Yo.
this.
Huh?
Let's watch the FNCS.
We are. I am. Wait, is
Huh?
there? Can we go in? What's it called? Isn't there a thing you can watch it?
Uh, What?
Mm,
What do you mean?
isn't there a thing you can watch it though? Isn't
I
it
think
this?
we can watch it in this. What? Yeah, put it in private. Yeah, let's see. You can watch on that, or you can watch on Switch too. It's Peterbot streaming.
I'm streaming, by the way.
You're streaming. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. How's your day been, Bernardo?
Hmm?
How's your day been?
What'd you say?
I said, how's your day been?
Good, bro. Yours?
It was good. It was alright. Just chilling with you, friends. You know. I've been sick most of the day. I've just been chilling for real.
Yeah, nice, bro.
Yeah. I saw you was on, so I just invited you.
Yeah, it's right here.
Contested, right? For the most part.
Yo, Higgs. Wait, what?
I feel like I came in and I was like,
Why?
this is Clix's season, right? Peterbot play, you guys fight it out. You know, just chase each other down to the edges of the map, fight each other for Surge. It's Clix's day to win, but now I'm looking at the map and I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. Now this is something that this trio has to worry about. If all these other two powerhouses are gonna look to be uncontested, it's not as easy for us anymore.
It's definitely not as easy going for the win, but I don't think Clicks, Higgs, and Yonzo were too concerned whatsoever. You know, look, going all the way from their drop spot over at Supernova Academy that they just have downloaded to a T. And then you look at their history as
Wow.
well. Major 1, they get 3rd place. Major 2, they get 2nd place. They've just been climbing up the leaderboard. And if you look at some of the scrims that they've been having, Clicks' trio has just been on a tear. My only concern for this trio is, can they survive long enough to be a trio in the end game?
Wait,
So
who's?
many times we see them a duo or even a solo, and out of all the trios I've seen, they have such incredible solo potential. But if they just make it all the way to the end and they don't spend all of their mats and hoping for a refresh that never appears, I think that they easily have 1st place contention in the grab.
Yeah, I mean, they're looking really, really good. And I got to say, like, one of the things that I like the most about this trio is just how well they get together, like, not even inside of Fortnite in general, right? They kind of, like, hang out outside of the game, right? That just means that they're really good friends, which is awesome, right? Because that just leans into the chemistry thing that I think is so important in Fortnite competitive. Now, I do think it is important to say, right? We're kind of looking at that drop map right there, and we're like, oh, yeah, the top 3 teams on the region, they look like they're going to be uncontested. But as we know, NA does not disappoint. The story continued to develop throughout the week, and LCQ kind of changed that map up very, very quickly, right? One of those trios kind of qualifying pronounces, hey, listen, we want to go to Demon's Domain now, right? So it's like, boom, and now Acorn's trio kind of contested. So is it going to be like a Peterbot versus Clicks kind of grand finals? Is somebody going to last minute kind of land on Peterbot? Because I'm kind of seeing some whispers on
Wow.
social media right now as well. I don't know. Everything's going
Yo, I'm
crazy.
looking kind of like. Yesterday I was looking cooking, yo.
Of course.
I don't know about
Put the
today.
grand finals before globals. Kelly, why not, right? Like, let's just have a great time. Let's just send it all.
Wait, they add stuff, new stuff in Reload, right?
Right? We already have a spot at globals. Why don't we just send it and just see what happens, right?
I mean, if any trio can do it, I think it's this one right here. I think that they have a lot to prove. I think that there's a lot of eyes on them right now, so the pressure is definitely on. But I think that out of all the times that I've watched them, since we've been watching Clicks now for, 7 years, this is the most locked in I have seen them. I am so excited.
So how do they know?
I just feel
How
like
do they know?
highlight reels from each player individually throughout the last few
What's
months.
up?
They are ready to win it, but can they do it?
Listen, I actually think they can. I think they're in one of the best spots because we talked about all these changes kind of happening between the other 2 trios that are kind of on the region that are dominant right now. They've had to deal with so much throughout the season. They got to keep changing this. Clicks, Higgs, and Yamzo, they've had the same game plan throughout. They've got to be the most comfortable.
Where's the start?
I believe in Clicks, Higgs, and Zo. I believe. All right. With that being said, though, let's take a small break here and go meet up with your casters, Monster G Face, Jacob PR, and get their thoughts on the grand finals.
We might be giving you a small break, but we got a lot to talk about here, Jacob. We've
You didn't
been waiting
call?
for this weekend. Another finals ahead of us.
I know they talked about 5 different teams that already have their global championship spot secured. Well, let's just throw another one in the mix. A 6-team King, Phaser, and P8 Zin. They have a record-tying 6 FNCS championships between 2 of them. Monster, they have 16 FNCS championships.
The points right there.
In the lobby out of every trio. Yes, that might be coming from Brazil, but that just goes to show they're willing to invest in themselves, change regions, and try to prove that they're one of the teams to beat in all of Fortnite.
And one thing's for certain, the stats are telling us that the Brazilian region thresholds, the damage is on average lower than NA, so it's very clear that you're coming to a much more competitive region to go ahead and get some serious practice in. What I am curious about is where they have positioned themselves. King Phaser, Pigeon, they're at the Lone Wolf layer, but there are no easy pickings around them, Jacob.
Yeah, you saw that drop, man.
Looks like.
Global championship
Oh, okay.
teams are in and around that drop spot, but I kind of see that the most recent evaluation cup, they got a first place win. They closed it out. They go for that island, and the Wanderers medallion just kind of ups that kind of star power of your fragger. They do put it in King's hands from time to time. So I'm looking at maybe that being the difference maker, because in order to get access to that island, Monster, you have to condition the lobby. You have to let everybody know it's not going to be an easy fight up here.
That's the thing, and they are that wild card. So Zeke, we're looking forward to seeing what this team's going to do here today.
Nah,
Oh,
come
but I'm
on.
so
Get shit
down,
started.
right? And I think it's interesting that Jacob brings up conditioning the lobby, because like I feel like in group stages, that's a lot easier to do. When we're in a stage where there is so many teams who have already qualified, these are some of the best teams in NA. I don't know how we condition them. We're going to do our best. Maybe it'll happen. Maybe it won't. It won't. Guys, I do want to talk about something very interesting, though. You know we love data. All right, our best friend, Kinch, he put together a little simulation for us. We said, Kinch, hey, listen. First off, you look nice. Second off, if we know the trios that have already qualified, and we are looking to fill 2 more spots, can you run some numbers? Can you crunch some data and let us know which trios we think could walk away winning? We got a cool little chart here. Why don't we bring this up? Because I think some of you are going to be shocked.
I like it.
Because it's Kanata, it's Rapid, it's Bolt, and it's 65%.
Oh, Rapid and Bolt.
Woo!
Oh my god, I think you're just as loud as Kanata's going to be once he gets his ticket to Global Championships. Rapid Kanata Bolts in first place for the simulation, and obviously
Hell
if you look
yeah.
at the numbers, if you look at their history from this season, it is not a surprise why they have been performing so well. And going all the way back to Major 1, where they got 6th place, Major 2, they got 7th place, although they were playing with Sphinx, not Rapid, but then picking Rapid back up. And throughout the Div Cups, the performance evaluations, even the scrims, this trio has been performing at the top level. So honestly, the best that I've seen them play in so long. We either see them getting victory royales in scrims or 2nd place. They've shown that they don't just have to be high ground teams, they can play low ground as well. But what I love from Kanata is, or this trio, is the use out of that exotic pistol, the knockback pistol. They have just been disrupting the high ground. Either they're on the low ground, making sure that high ground keeps getting knocked, keeps getting chopped, or they use the pistol on the high ground and essentially just punish anyone that it starts to peek up at them. This trio just has proven time and time again that regardless of if they're on the low ground, high ground, or if they're chopped,
Damn, he got that beam.
they have a solution to the problem.
Yeah, and I feel like NA is so like top heavy, right? There's 3 trios that kind of people have been putting to kind of win this FNCS, right? Peter Bod's trio, Acorn's trio, and then Clix's trio.
Wow.
But I feel like over the last week, Kanata, Rapid, and Bolts have actually entered that conversation of potentially winning this FNCS. That's how good this trio looks right now. And then honing in on Kanata himself, right? There are kind of 2 things synonymous with Kanata. One, of course, is the fact that he's made it to every single grand finals, FNCS grand finals. And then the second is that like something always happens during the meta that kind of changes his entire game plan like a week or 2 before, and he's like, he just always hates it, right? But this season, no, that's not the case, right? He's feeling pretty comfortable. Nothing's really happened over there to the trio. And then also, there's actually a third thing as well, is that Kanata always has a very solid Storm Surge strategy. He always seems like he makes it to the end games very consistently. So the fact that they're looking good throughout the week, nothing really crazy has happened on the map for this trio. I feel like they rightfully have kind of entered that conversation to potentially win this FNCS. And I think, Zeke, they are sitting very comfortably in terms of having a shot at getting one of those global qualification spots.
Bro, I'm so down. I'm so down. Kanata, I gotta see you at Globals. I just gotta, okay? Now, of course, let's bring that list back up one more time, because in case you miss it, in case you're slow to read like I am a lot of times, there's another name on there. Booga, Threats, and Craze with a 42% chance. Guys, if Mr. World Cup doesn't make it to globes. If Mr. I'm not
Oh,
going.
G Money and Rise. G
I'm not going.
I mean,
Ver
Booga is friends and
Yonzo.
craze. When you see Booga's name, he is just synonymous for competitive Fortnite all the way back to the beginning and still competing at such a top level. And I'd love to look at actually the history of this trio, just seeing how Booga has been performing since Chapter 5, because a lot of people seem to kind of always consider him as like, oh, you know, he's like washed, he's not a top level competitor anymore. But every single year, every major, we see him, maybe not in the top 10, but when we do, he is making sure that he is making a statement and
This was
even
the
getting
season
so
that
close to
like
qualifying, getting 6th place in Major 2, just missing out that global spot by 1 placement. But
Dennis.
Vivid, I am so excited to watch this trio play. I feel like Craze has just been the puzzle piece that they have been missing, and I think that as a full trio, they have so much potential.
Oh, they absolutely do. When you kind of take a look at this trio, the roles, they seem very, very defined, right? You, of course, have
Oh, yeah.
the IGL, the calls, the game plan, what to do when, right? Because he has so much experience in Fortnite competitive. And then you have Threads, who's, you know, not only been a teammate with Booga, right? So that's comfortable for them, but somebody who's known for his aim, right? This guy will 100% be towards the top of like a damage done leaderboard at the end of these 12 games without a doubt. So they got the guy who's going to get him the calls, they got the guy who's going to get him the storm surge, and then they now have the young gun, Craze, who's going to bring the mechanics, who's going to find them the eliminations, find them the refreshes that they kind of need in the late game to make sure that they can make it into the later stages of some of those zones. Yeah, Kelly, I gotta agree with you. This trio is looking very, very good on paper.
I like it, guys. I mean, this is just stacked, right? Like, this is going to be one of the craziest majors I think we've ever seen. With only 2 minutes left to go before we kind of start kicking off the competition, I got to hear from you guys.
Yes.
What are you excited to see? Obviously, this is just day 1, right? And we talk about all the time, day 1 teams versus day 2 teams. You know, what are you guys hoping to see out of just day 1?
Well, now I'm excited to see who's going to be dropped on. Is there going to be these surprise contested, like Vivid saying, these little whispers that's going on
Yeah,
that
Bernardo.
will completely shake up the way that things go in the FNCS. And there's one thing that I always say about Fortnite is that it is unpredictable. You truly do not know if a POI is going to even be there the next day or who's going to be landing on you. The best thing about these players is their adaptability.
Yeah, I mean, throughout the season, right, we're all been like, man, there's kind of like a lack of tournaments. We can't really see what's going on the NA, and then the changes that happen every single week, right? It's like if you go ahead and take notes throughout the season in preparation for this grand finals, right? And it's all like just like a stack of paper with all those notes. Yeah, all of them just get thrown out like every single day. It's like, and you just got to rewrite them down. So I'm excited to get into game number 1. I want a formulated kind of plan and an expectation to be set for the rest of the 11 games, because as of right now, it kind of feels like we have no idea what's going to happen. So game 1 for me is going to be like, okay, what's going on? Let me pay attention to every little detail.
Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot. If you have to pick what's a tree to win right now, who's it got to be? Who's it going to be? Pick one.
Oh,
Don't think about it. Gut reaction. Go!
Peterbot.
Kelly's going with Peterbot. Listen, you know, I love Peterbot. I've kind of been on the Peterbot train for a very long time. I think they're going to do very, very good, but I think the storyline would just be too good right now to not say Clicks Higgs Leonzo.
Yeah.
I mean, come
That's
on.
fair. Look, you know, Kelly, I feel like there's just so many names, right? It's like, dude, you
Wow.
just look at the lobby list. It's like, bro, you could tell me like 20 different trios, and I'd be like, yeah, all of them could win. Absolutely. You know, we'll have to just see how things unfold, how forgiving the zone is, and we all know it ain't forgiving at all. So with that being said, it is that time. 6 games today, and then 6 games tomorrow, and we will finally know and see the full picture of which trios will be going on to the Global Championship in Beyond. Fortnite fam, buckle up, because game 1 starts now.
Thankfully, Monster, I've
Game
been
one, come on.
buckled up since the start of the show. And let's take a trip real quick. Major 1, a 14-point difference between first and second place. Major 2, 11-point difference between first and second place. Monster, I hope this weekend that trend continues.
Major 2 was absolute cinema. I think it put NA just at the front line of pure entertainment. No matter what we know for certain that we are in store for great games and some wonderful action. And then we've already talked about it. You have a wild card trio in the mix here coming up from Brazil. So I am so looking forward to what's going to unfold here at the north side of the map. I almost feel bad that they are all so close to one another because anything can happen now.
Yeah, especially if we get a lot of those north zones, forcing those teams to kind of interact very, very early on in some of these games. But I want to say about the probability chance that Kinch kind of broke down. To me, if I was one of those teams that was not in that top 5, that would light a fire in my heart to kind of perform the very best that I can. There's only 2 more spots up for grabs with 6 teams already qualified. So you don't even necessarily have to shoot for the top of the leaderboard. But you guys heard that sound. The battle bus is ready. Let's get into game number 1.
Grand finals time, baby. Game number 1's kicking off here, and now Major 3 has arrived. And what a time to be alive. What a time to be a Fortnite fan as we get to watch this here with front row seats to the action, Jacob. Obviously, it couldn't be a better time now to push your way through to globals. We already know most of the big ticket teams have nothing to worry about. It's about what spots are remaining here.
Yeah, and already I can see the drop map. The dust is settled. Everybody marking their spot early on before the tournament. Oh, I'm contested so-and-so. Oh, I'm going here. You can see Peterbot uncontested. Clicks uncontested. Kanata uncontested. And right here, right now, uncontested as well. If you look at the opinions of a lot of the
Uncontested at all, what the hell?
The top 4 teams that are in the race for the championship, and to start off game number 1, Monster, all of them uncontested.
What I love too is like all the interview content we kind of got in lead up. You got to hear essentially from the players themselves. Kanata, how he has no doubt in his mind he'll be taking his seat to globals. How Acorn feels like now more than ever this is more competitive now that he isn't wiping Pollo out the early game of the map here. And then let's jump in with Muzz, Shadow, and Sphinx. Obviously, last chance qualifier on the line when it matters most. They come through, they clutch up, they put in the work, and now running through a team like Bryce, right, clashing up against this squad right here. This is a player, this is a trio that have slowly and consistently shown that they can even win in LAN settings as well. So this is a pretty big battle, Jacob.
Yeah, no, I kind of agree with it. I like the way you were kind of heading with that conversation. When you look at the names of Dash, Skittles, and Bryce, you may not see them as kind of the top names, a name to be scary, but already throughout this season, they kind of moved on over to the resistance base, and this not been an easy fight no matter who has been contesting this side of the map, and already proven they could be a force to be reckoned with. Yes, Muzz, Shadow, they still got to fight for that reboot card. We'll see how much success we find over there, but back over to the last order. This is where you can kind of see that off-spawn fight. 3 teams over here, Monster. Triple contested. Nico's in such a tough spot under. Liam shows up at a perfect time to pressure not one, but all 3 of those teams to try to slow down the push.
No way, Zango down.
There for Liam to kind of open this one up. You know, first order is not big enough for 3 trios by any means, so these fights are going to get pretty scrappy here. I'm more interested to see who's going to make an adjustment coming out of this. This is not the place you want to be for a grand finals, right? For some, it's their first time making their appearance, right? Their first true time trying to get their feet kind of wet in this upper level of competition. For others like Liam, I mean, very experienced. He's holding its own right now very nicely.
Yeah, just kind of jumping, creating distance. May not be big 105 shots by any means, but he's at least fighting back just like that, chipping him down little by little. Josh was down first. Tyler follows him to the lobby. Curb with 13 HP. He does have some heals in his inventory if he could manage a way to escape, but it's just not only that team that you have to worry about. There's still a 3rd trio there. They might not be all 3 members up, but there's still a threat, but in the distance from Porta Potty. Liam, that's why you know they're landing here. They just know the terrain so
I landed first order.
Such a good read, such a beautiful, just kind of angle play there from Liam, but more importantly, talk about holding his own in the 2v1, just in the box fight capability. So Liam clearly feeling very much good, warmed up. Take a look at that tag right there to give him the advantage. Just everything you expect from a very much experienced trio here, an individual like Liam. Jumping into the other things though, Sphinx getting picked up here, looks like from the reboot, but Dash, Bryce, and Skittles absolutely ready for the action here. Get a couple opening tags. Shadow is going to come down to him to go on and put up some good defense right now. And Muzz playing wonderful side angles there. Is going to go on and defend properly.
Yeah, I see the idea. Sphinx fresh off the reboot. They know they got half damage there. So they thought for a second who was kind of positioned by himself. They looked like they were going to push him by, but Muzz right there basically saving the day. They get the reboot up. Sphinx doesn't even get downed, and that's going to be the biggest difference maker. He gets downed, you know as well as I do. This trio probably pushes, trying to keep their numbers intact, but the fact that those trees essentially saving the day, not giving them the line of sight to get that knock on the Sphinx, forcing them to kind of disengage on out. And you know how stacked this side of the zone is. They're trying to move on over, but they're stuck between now Muzz's team and Reed's team over at Flooded Frogs.
Yeah, this is a tough spot to be in. This rotate's not going to be easy. It's going to get real exciting here for Skittles, Bryce, and Dash. And I mean, it's from one problem straight into another. Reed's going to need to find his Storm Surge. We'll see what's all going to fold there shortly, but first, take a look at this replay here. Couple big eliminations there, kicking things off for Madden's team.
Oh, Cold is making the surge base. Cold, Peter Bot, Ritual. Oh, they're trading surge. Okay.
So that you're kind of in the render distance for the This is one of those strategies that is no stranger to the upper Fortnite competition, right? What you really have to be careful of is how high the thresholds are going to be now as the game starts to develop.
Yeah, and you can kind of see that, you know, Vivid, Kelly, Zeke, they all broke it down from major to major. Those thresholds just getting higher and higher. That's just more and more teams taking note of what's going on around the map. That risk versus reward. Yeah, you can be flashy. You could try to box fight the nearest team next to you, but that kind of increases a third-party chance, increases your own chance of going down. And that's why you see these massive, massive surge towers, 6 to 7 layers high, spreading the distance to cover that render distance you were talking about. And the amount of heals around these uncontested POIs, Crime City here being one of them. You saw it, Ritual kind of converging all those heals at the bottom of these ramps all into one location. So when they do take an immense amount of damage, it's so easy for them to start to heal up, get back into full health. And the other difference maker is, even if they do get a down monster, they're so far across the map by the time they try to push over. If they were, that player is going to be up, he's going to be revived, and he's going to be full health.
Yeah, but what you're looking at right now is like not all
Blake.
Storm Surge is treated.
Blake is trading surge. Okay.
Gotten the better, you know, of this trio here as they've kind of
Blake, okay. Oliver OG.
You have to be careful. Like, even look at Oliver OG's setup right now, right? Take all this damage. You still need to recover. You still have a whole game ahead of you. And truly, it will come down to who is the better team at the end of the day.
Kind of seeing, you know, Oliver just going and getting all the scraps back. We talked about Ritual, trying to bring all the loot on over to one spot. That's Oliver's job for this stream. Everybody kind of has their respective roles. We talk about IGLs, fraggers, support players. Well, somebody's got to get the heals to keep everybody healthy. Booga doing the same thing. Utopia, they kind of spread out in a triangle formation. Usually threats kind of towards the north of Utopia. Craze watching the south side of the map. Booga watching the Shining Spans part. And he noticed no team went on over to this bunker. He immediately beelined over with his misform. Grabbed all the extra loot there, but he is only C rank, so there is still going to be more and more as the superhero ranks upgrade, more access to those chests. So if a team does continue to pull towards the south, I can maybe see Booga Threats and Craze trying to rotate over there and get that little bit of extra loot.
And they'll need it, and most certainly these hero ranks absolutely matter when it comes to getting the unlock to that upper tier kind of itemization. Looking at Cyclops, VLEX, H2, kind of playing deep in the storm right now. Doing a nice little wide rotate here as they try to find themselves into the new zone.
Talk about the island. They brought up the tweet a little bit saying Boxcars, Island, Spire, we're keying absolutely everything. Ironically enough, the fight's going down below the island, so if they can find some rifts, they can easily try to get out of this position, take the high ground on over. It might be just a little bit too risky getting caught in those wind tunnels. You're just kind of open, susceptible to getting tagged up. And that's Taki, Isho, and Burt underneath. And this is a team that's been getting better each and every single major as individuals and as teammates.
One thing seems pretty clear right now is that Ishu, Taki, and Burt have gotten the better of Peterbot's team. As far as this initial engagement is concerned, you saw all of the shields on Ritual and Cold were at least around that 50% mark. And they seem to have kind of had to slow down there. So likely giving up the island, but getting the better of them, at least in that initial exchange.
Yeah, damage. It's like currency, allows you to flexibly walk around the map, rotate from zone to zone, especially if you get one of those dreaded max pools. As Ritual cold, Peterbot, they took that rift I was talking about. They got on top of the island, realizing no team's really going to contest him up there, and immediately goes from the island back on over towards Brutal Boxcars Mountain to try to take these priority positions in order to start to continue to accumulate that storm surge.
Yeah, they're not wasting any time. The team hot on their heels here. This is just what looks to be a preparation in full effect right now. And I absolutely love to watch this high caliber Fortnite in action right now. We'll get a little update with Peterbot in a couple moments, but first we got some action here. Zabi, Neko getting right back at it. Like, let's not forget, first order base, obviously they won that initial fight. The team that was here, Jigs, and the rest of the team had seemingly gotten their loot together, but they need that fight, right? They need the damage, most importantly here.
Yeah, and just kind of one of those situations where, you know, they are able to take down one of the 3 trios that did land over here. I believe they have a 3v2 advantage, and the zone is still close by, so they don't have the pressure to rotate on out just yet. But for Neko and Zabi, it's a whole different story. Depending on whether or not they got the reboot card or not, they might not be in that position to have the same flexibility, especially pressure coming in from both sides. Zabi getting most of his shields knocked off. And they're just getting surrounded. You see them just taking that different approach, just trying to lurk around, hide the video visuals, and just kind of strike when they can.
I'm not gonna lie, it looks like desperation starting to kick in here. Metal being thrown all across this bottom layer. Neko trying to kind of plan the ambush from the side angle. Doesn't seem like he caught the big elim that he was looking for. And Zavi, just so much pressure coming in, forcing him back into the first order low ground. He seems hungry to try to chase down that elimination. Neko's kind of desperate here to escape at this point in time.
This is crazy.
Yeah, Zabi had no choice. He used the porta potty, but you can kind of see him on the lone island, the south side of the map. Kind of leaving Neko. Luckily for him, he did have that miss point. Tries to create distance, once again, using the porta potty, and he's just going further and further towards the north, farther and farther away from his teammates, which in one side could be bad, but on the other side, at least they have a chance to go back and get that reboot card. But action going down all around the map. Scare's able to get that knock onto Madden. His teammate follows, and there goes the last one trying to be the hero, but he's going to follow them back to the lobby.
Nice little team elim right there to set things
Excellent
up.
clicks.
Little update here for Clicks and Yamzo.
Yamzo.
See what it's looking like over here. Several dashes here on Clicks' setup right now. Still playing the Supernova Academy very closely here at this given time. And we know what teams are off to the north. Most likely to be Ree, Cooper, Curly. Have Preston's trio kind of nearby, and off to the eastern side, Sineto, Ocean, and Cam. So really, any one of these trios can already be on the move, but it seems like Yamzo's hot on the heels of Ree and Cooper. Little does he know that I don't see him here, kind of lurking. He'll likely get those opening tags. I'm surprised to see Blake's trio playing the zone kind of deeply like this. So just telling of the situation at hand here. They want to make sure that they are not rotating too soon into anyone else's warpath, if you will.
They got a couple of options here too. They can go ahead and ride that first launch pad as deep as possible, and I think that
Oliver's rotating.
right next to him. There's that bunker. There's
Blake.
the lift. But what this is also going to do,
They're in
because
Storm.
the surge towers, the overabundance of hills, all of them kind of collecting them. If they go at the bottom with some of these surge towers, they could find a little bit of extra resources that they can use, heals to make sure to keep the ones in their loadout untouched. It might not be the worst plan, but I will see the most drastic thing that is happening to a lot of these teams that are in that same position outside of the storm is you're kind of minimizing your win potential when it comes to that heal off at the end of the game.
There's that Cooper, Ree, and Curly trio rotating around the outskirts. That one little marker on the map, that's Yamzo looking at them from up above, looking for kind of some opening tags here. And there is a lurking trio still inside the zone. We knew that Price's team was kind of moving behind, and big two-tap here from Reed onto Yamzo to put him down. Higgs is going to have to come to support ASAP. If not, it's not looking good right now for Clicks and his teammate. Playing for the quick pickup here. Here, it all kind of unfolds right now. Reed backs off. Kind of recognizing, wait a second, I don't need to open up here, but Curly falls, and a huge mistake being made there. And here comes Muzz's trio out of nowhere, collapsing in, taking full advantage of the chaos.
This is a prime example of why they sit in their surge towers, Monster, even after they get a knock. There's just too much distance. The revive came into play, and as soon as they were going to crash, Muzz's team got the knock onto Curly. Now Cooper and Reet are forced to try to stretch, use a lot of their materials in the fourth zone to try to make space. Shadow is putting down pressure. Clixie, Yamzo, and Higgs, they've disengaged on out. They're just watching from above, smiling ear to ear, saying, hey, we started this, as Curly actually does get cleaned up by Dash. Monster, that is another trio around this spot on the map.
That's exactly where my head was going. Bryce and Dash's team seeing this all unfold here. They start to look in. They want a piece of the action. Why not find a few tags here? And you know they're thinking about Muzz's trio and how they were pushed off the drop. So that's personal for sure here. Clixie, Yamzo, Higgs get bailed out of a treacherous situation and live to see another day. The team that is most affected right now is obviously Reed's team, but look, they've got in the reboot card and they seem to have skated out for a quick reboot here to come.
Yeah, I'm just kind of thinking of like Blessings. It is a North Zone this time around, so even though they're going back to their POI, Flooded Frogs, there's launch pads over there. They can close the distance, dash sprites as well. So I do expect them to get their teammate back into the game, but how much Storm Surge did they just lose off of him going down and getting rebooted back into the game? That might have impacted them later on as we continue to get closer and closer towards the ending portions. As diminished visuals and Braids, they've rotated up from Foxy Floodgates, and they've kind of centered themselves in that middle portion of the map, getting as much Storm Surge as possible. I saw multiple knocks in the feet on them and on other players. So right now they just got to focus on their rotation, which seems a little bit easier because you see two more teams on top of the Brutal Boxcars Mountain, Bolts, Kanata, and Rapid being one of them.
Yeah, I saw Oliver OG's team affected there. Phaser taken down by Oliver OG just moments ago. So now it's all up to King, PH Zin, but it seems like they've managed to pick him back up and get him back in the game. And look, that puts them below the surge. And this is exactly what we just kind of expressed, right? When you get eliminated and brought back in, you are effectively losing all that progress in the game. It truly is a huge setback. So now, how can King, PH Zin, and Phaser play this one out? This is exactly what we wanted to highlight kind of in those opening moments. Those breakdowns were all about, can this team figure out how to pick up the surge damage that is most notably here on NA?
Yeah, and essentially they need a
Very
full
nice
elimination and some. Exactly that. They get that knock on the Blake. It did look like Oliver tried to go ahead and turn back, save the day, but he doesn't know. Full trios narrowing down, trying to get that elimination. 84 more damage for Storm Surge, but they still find themselves below the damage threshold. And with 2 elimination for Diego and Blake, they're 600 above Monster. All they need to do is survive this onslaught from the Brazilian powerhouses.
Pretty great defense here by Oliver OG, though. I didn't expect him to be able to kind of make a move like that, but Oliver calls for the dash out. Definitely wise to disengage here. Seems like King, Zin are not looking to give this one up. Oliver's going to go in and fall. Big crack from the side angle there. It's just a matter of
shit.
before Diego will fall here too, but not before he takes down some serious damage. Wait a second, that Siphon's going to keep him in the game here. We can't count him out just yet. Cooper shows up as well. He gets put down by Phaser. What is going on here?
That early elimination, Curly going down, losing the Storm Surge. So many teams are being infected by that investment going sideways. And now with Cooper down, Curly's gone. Reet is just on the hunt trying to take down Phaser, but it's just going to get more and more tough because I saw Higgs in the distance as well. And there's that first player of Oliver's team. It might have been Diego. He got that first elimination, but he goes down. What is going on?
You can't pay for action like this. Reed versus Phaser, one-on-one. This is where Reed shines, though. He queues up into fights like this all day long, but this time it's Phaser who connects the dots and closes the conversation right there. And now he will have a chance to get the pickup here, but look who's coming in. Other teams that need that damage. 668 below here for he lost the plot, but Phaser, I mean, he's warmed up. He's already done it against the best of the best. I think Plot's got something to worry about here.
I think this might be Chimp. OG Chimp. He may have lost the plot, but he might not have lost the skills. He's ready to kind of go ahead one-on-one against Phaser. Phaser's playing this so safe. He has 3 medkits. He has a decent amount of builds. He just needs to stay alive and continue to create distance. It's only bandages on the other side. He might not know this. This might be a hindsight thing to talk about. Monster, he just needs to continue to stay alive. He doesn't even have to put pressure back. 6 builds. He continues to push forward. He knows his time is limited. Another big shot coming out from Phaser, but he did force the cancel of that first medkit.
Very nicely done by him as well. Plays the med kit, gets the siphon to kick in as well. And this is a huge damage tick happening here. I do think he might have storm sickness. Is that just, yeah, ticking away too fast. Too much time spent in the zone. And that's how it ends.
Honestly, I thought this major was going to be entertaining, but I didn't think it was going to be this entertaining this early on into game one. It just goes to show that everybody, you know, when it comes to the practice, the eval cup, the divisional cup, even those scrims, it's really all being put to use. All those tricks being exposed here early on. And you're seeing some of those risks that some of these teams took early in game number one. It didn't pay off. They might start to change up their thought process going into the next.
Really does make you think about how much time you spend in the zone. Cougar threats and Crazo putting the laser to use here. Very, very nicely done there to go and open up elimination onto another player there for Crazy's team. But Peterbot, Ritual, Cold have somewhat found their bearings. Just 114 above the damage threshold here. This is not usual for Peterbot, Ritual, and Cold, but this is where they shine best. They've made it to endgame, and now everyone has to be very much on their toes. Clicks, Yamzo, and Higgs just sections away from danger here, and they need a fight.
Yeah, below the damage threshold, above the damage threshold. They find the open opportunity there from Yamzo onto Soneto, and immediately, while Clicks heals, the rest of his team pushes forward. They have that trust in each other for them to catch up. They clean up the elimination, get just a little bit more damage for their Storm Surge, but they're not in the zone just yet. While Higgs needs to heal, Clicks as well. The damage is there. Yamzo is going to be the one leading the that perfect tarp of safety into the zone. You see the whole western side of the zone is stacked like a bunch of pancakes.
He down here. Bernardo!
Cannot be slept on. Endgame.
He leave? Yeah, he left.
Here and now, they've somewhat positioned themselves up for the first to take high ground. Another trio off to the eastern side here. Seems like Surge is also active.
Okay.
Right below this base here. So, majority of the lobby pulling the zone here. That's a very favorable outcome.
Just looking over onto that team. The med miss smoke goes down. They don't necessarily.
Whatever. Yo. It's the what now? It's the what now? I don't know, chat. I know though. What the fuck? What was this shit? Damn. Ages is first, okay. Or did the first game close? Are they actually? Oh, he gets pinned! He does, wow. Booga! Our Booga's dead. Alright, Boyo. What about Andrews? Yonzo. Clicks is dead. Higgs. Oh, Higgs just died. Fuck's sake. What the? Imagine being on low ground. He's up. Andrews got that kill. Oh, imagine on low ground. I feel so bad. Damn. They win? No. Playing hello. Oh wait, he made they win if we you sold. Wow. They just won, no way. So fucking why. Shit. Wait, what? That's crazy. Good job, Benny. Like, I don't get it, bro. Ugh. Blitz boss ninja. What the fuck? Okay. Boogie bombs? I got boogie bombs. What the fuck? Wait, can I? How much Jacoby this? What the? What is what? 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 How's that fair? Oh god, they're talking. How's that possible? What is this loot? What? Okay. What the fuck is this loot, bro? Like, how is this fair? How is this fair, though? I wanna hit someone with a fucking grenade. Go. He's gone too. I should get my kills in 3 seconds. Where they at? Why didn't I get my kill? Oh, back down to earth. Oh. And another one right there. That's so stupid. I only win in the game using boogie bombs. Bye, bitch. No, I threw one. I need to boogie myself. No, I'm out. Goo gun, nigga. What the fuck? Let's see. Well, I'll take that. Wait, why is this fair? Why is this in here? Or 7 kills in 3 seconds. Oh, 8 kills. Damn it. Oh, let's go to keep Mr. Badass, okay. Gang's taking my loot? Oh no. Why you taking my loot, bro? What the fuck? None of the bullets were hitting! He's dead. Got more currently. Alright, let me order some.